Hey guys, Dave with Nerdarchy here, for Nerds by Nerds, hanging out with my Nerdarchy crew. What's up, guys?
Hey.
What's up? I'm Ted.
I'm Ryan.
And today we're going to be talking about the fighter.
Or the feeder.
The feeder?
The feeder.
No feeding.
You get
Feeding's for noobs.
I think he's talking about
the feet.
The feet.
The agony of the feet.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, that's only if you're using optional rules.
That's true, but there's a lot of good
So we're
options
talking
out
about
there.
Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition fighter.
Yes, specifically the 5th edition 5e fighter.
So what do we think?
Well, first of all, I'm a little embarrassed, but it was
You should
actually a Nerdarchy fan pointed out to me that the fighter gets more ability bumps than anybody else. I just thought everyone got the same.
I have to admit, I went through the same thing,
That-
looking through, and it's like, okay, you get
You
a
figure
4,
it's all
8,
cookie
12,
cutter, right? So yeah.
But the fighter, they get more.
They get 7, not 5, and the rogue gets 6. So the fighter is still the undisputed master of the feat if you use the optional rule.
Right.
So that's 8.
Optional rules pending, yes.
That's 8 if you're a human.
Yeah.
Or if you're a human and you just say you don't take any feats, you go with the straight. What is it? They get a +1 to everything.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, that's a +20, right? Am I adding that up right?
They get 6 to start, and then if they get, you said 8 bumps or
7.
So 7 is 14. No, it's it's 20.
So a human fighter get a +20 of their stats.
They can be the master of the stats.
They could have a 0 and raise it to 20.
They could do that.
But I think that makes them a vegetable or an or a Amaton or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but so that was actually pretty cool, and I recently just realized that. I keep learning more and more about this edition as I play.
Well, there's a lot
to be
in
expected.
there's a lot in the book to talk about, and it's I guess too much to grasp all at once.
It is an awful lot.
I guess I guess too. Like you have preconceived notions of stuff. And
Well, yeah, everything else is templated. Everything else is pretty much the same progression
Until they
And
break it.
and then you have the fighter and the rogue that break. So there's that.
And yeah, I was so excited too. I was like, oh, that's how they fix the sorcerer and make him equal to the wizard.
And then you look through.
And I looked through and no,
You
no,
look through
he
and
still
he's
get,
not
he still
equal to
gets
the
pounded.
wizard.
You know where.
Yeah.
Alright.
So
in the sorcerer hole.
three archetypes.
We got the champion, what is the tactician? What's that one called?
Battlemaster.
Battlemaster, and the Eldritch Knight.
That's right.
So this still completes our every class gets spells,
Pretty much.
Yep.
which is so bizarre.
It is, and actually though, like I don't even. Although the monk gets spells, I don't really feel like they're spellcastery.
No, they feel just like special abilities, like
Right.
like every other special ability the monk gets.
Yeah, it just felt like kind of some
Some flavor. Yeah, a little bit of the
airbender.
airbending going.
Or some Goku or some Street
Kamehameha,
Fighter.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So with the fighter, you want to break down the archetypes?
Well, let's start with champion.
Baseline.
So
fighter.
some people
Or baseline fighter. What do you want to do?
Yeah, we should talk baseline fighter and then
Okay,
kind of get it.
let's go into the baseline fighter. We already talked about that they get 7 stat bumps,
Yeah.
/ feats. What else do we think about their base abilities?
What well, first off, you have to talk about the fact that they the fighting style, which a lot of the martial classes get.
Fighter gets the most choices though,
Right. Okay. So they get a fair amount of options as far as that goes.
and they get it at first level.
Right. Well, yeah, because a lot of them they're seeing it at second.
Yeah.
Is kind of the thing.
So you can my favorite choices for that is you get defensive, just a straight +1 to your armor class, which if you stack on heavy armor and a shield, you can get a decent armor class really quickly.
I kind of like duelist, man.
The duelist with a single weapon, you have the shield, but you're not really losing that much for the damage because you're getting an extra +2.
Right. So it's like your the upper part of your damage stays the same, but your low end increases.
right. Yeah. So that's nice.
I was going to say I also like the great weapon fighter.
Oh, the great
especially
weapon
if you go
fighters.
with a great sword. You reroll the 1s and 2s.
And you couple that with the champion and a half orc. And we'll get back into that.
And then there's some feats to throw in there too.
some
So,
devastation.
so
happening
you
left
really
and right.
got the ability to bring up that median damage, on that great sword.
But that being said, if you want to go the archer route, a +2 to hit is huge in this edition.
That's true.
Yeah, you're not seeing a lot of pluses.
Yeah.
And then then there's a couple feats you can stack on top of that as well. Matter of fact, if you decide to go crossbow, there's actually 2 feats you can stack on top of that.
Well, how and in the 20+ years that you've been gaming, how often have you gone ranged fighter? It's a
I don't
rare
know. I'm
mix.
always DMing. I need a chance to play to figure it out.
It's a rare mix. Someone who's like, I'm gonna go fighter, and then I'm gonna just use focus on a bow. Usually, the fighter is the one that goes in the front.
Well, I mean, it's hard because you need those people that are going to be like absorbing attacks that can take them. And if it's just your casters and your rogue, like you're kind of SOL.
Someone's got to absorb the damage for the archer.
Right, exactly.
Infiltrate.
And I'm gonna second wind too. Yeah, right. Don't they get to do that as a bonus action? too?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So, oh man, I took some damage. I'm gonna second wind. Meanwhile, your wizard's getting beat to crap in the front line.
Because I think I've seen 2, maybe 3, over the years that I've been playing. That somebody's taken fighter and gone the archer.
I feel like you need to be playing with a large table to like have somebody play, the ranger or the cleric that can kind of fill in for that melee sort of feel.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not leaving the party high and dry.
Well,
you can
You know
just
what?
say
I kind of say F the party, play what you want to play, and just rain death and destruction from afar if that's what you want to do. The options there.
right.
And-
You take the thing where you can shoot without disadvantage from like 600 feet away or whatever.
You're like you can be the heavy archery unit.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'm up in the tree about a half mile away.
No. My version wears full plate, and he's not climbing any trees. He's gonna hurt something.
Yeah, right. No, we don't do that.
Probably
He
true.
brings a pulley system with him wherever he goes. He's
Yeah,
wrenching himself up. Yeah.
Some
Good.
a block and tackle.
Yeah.
He's also engineer on the side.
Right. Second edition staff.
Must be a dwarf.
Yeah.
Must be.
He's probably a dwarf.
Yeah, but then you don't get the feet. So you gotta wait. Ugh.
Yeah, dwarven problem.
I do want to play a dwarven crossbowman for
Of
some
course you
reason.
do.
Of course,
I'll play
you
dwarf
would.
and everything.
You would.
Although I'd probably make that character a rogue.
Just to mess with you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. So we got the second wind. We got the fact that he gets the most attacks with the extra attacks hitting 5th level and 11th, and then what? And then 20th. Yeah, and then you get another one on 20th. So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, they get 4 attacks. So
Yeah.
when they max out, it's the most like.
Oh, and they kind of fixed so this is a 9th level ability, and you get some more usage of it, the Indomitable. But it kind of fixed the fact that like your fighter is gonna oftentimes be failing like his will saving throws and this and that. So that's to counteract the fact that you're gonna have saving throws of suck usually. So
Well, I was actually kind of pondering this earlier today. Is the fighter, whether you go human or not, but with so many feats, they could take a bunch of stuff that like just gives them the +1
yeah,
to an ability, plus the other benefits like
Right.
observant, or
so they be this
durable, resilient.
basically the super utilitarian character.
Yeah,
With all the those incremental stat bumps going on.
and it would just be more, it would just make them more interesting.
Yeah.
And you think if you're a human, you still, that's if you finagle it right, that's still a +8 to your stats,
Yeah.
and and 8 feats.
Very feedy.
It is very feedy.
Yeah.
So you can do something a little more.
It's the uber like well-rounded character basically.
Well, I was gonna go with interesting, but
Yeah.
so you're not just the guy that fights stuff and bashes things. You're like you could definitely build like that Sherlock Holmes type character.
With a sword
And
to the
the
face.
Yes.
and the real benefit here is when we read through Fighter, like it didn't seem lacking
Yeah, without the 2 bumps.
without the extra bumps.
Yeah.
And here now we're looking through. It's like, wait a second, they get the 2 additional stat bumps / feats beyond the other classes, as well as everything else that we already read and thought this was good.
Yeah.
So
So do we want to get into the specifics of the archetypes a little bit?
sure,
Yeah.
I think so.
So of the 3, Champion has gotten some bad press. Some people say, oh, it's just basic, it's just boring.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you want to crit, your odds greatly improve with the champion. If
Well-
you make a build that really wants to crit, like the half orc with his like extra weapon damage and the great weapons.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want to crit, champion is the way to go for you. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Just that, in everything that I've seen, there isn't anything that increases the crit range beyond the champion's ability.
Well, aside from that too, like there's a couple things going on, right? You have the crit range, which is uber cool. You have, I believe they're the only fighter archetype that's an additional fighting style, which so that increases their
right. They get
utility.
More utility, yeah.
And then their remarkable athlete ability I think is really cool, because when we were playing the meat grinder, you're like, well, I got a fighter and I was thinking about doing this. I'm like, well, it's a meat grinder, so there's going to be a lot of skill challenges and probably saving throw type situations
that you're not going to do so well at. Yeah.
that you have to overcome. So I'm looking at remarkable athlete going, that would probably be really useful.
Yeah.
Of course, it never came to that.
No,
but,
I played a different character.
Completely. But still, compared to the Battle Master, who gets, I think at the same level. No, they get it at an earlier level, but they get a proficiency with artisan tools of their choice. I think the remarkable athlete is far more useful.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and so what remarkable athlete lets you do really is you could choose with this. You could actually forgo taking any of the physical stuff and take like the more sort of mental abilities and say your background sort of in that way. I mean, it's kind of antithetical to the whole champion concept, but if you wanted to go the sort of Munchkin-y route, you take all these more mental stat things to have your proficiency bonus, and then you have half again in all of your physicals.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you're going really optimal.
Well, if you're just trying to get the most bang for your build.
Yeah, I mean, like you could come up with a character concept that it makes sense with it, just.
But then again, even if you are proficient in those things, right? There's going to be times when it's just a stat check.
Yeah.
And if it's just a stat check, then you get to use that ability.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
So it's gonna come into play, and and then we have their 18th level ability. Which
let's
here's
hear
the
about
thing.
The 18th level ability.
Here's the thing that I've kind of found with 5th edition in general. The high level ability is very freaking wonky in this edition.
It's either really awesome or so meh. And why the hell did I have to wait so long to get it?
Yeah, 20 levels for this. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm going home. But their 18th level ability
It is pretty freaking sweet.
Yeah,
It's just regeneration.
Essentially, they gave regeneration 5 plus your Constitution modifier if you have no more than half your hit points. So, I mean, at that point, you're probably rocking at least a 20.
Although, I imagine, too, though, the things that you're going to be fighting, if you're down that low, could be close to dropping you. So, it's a trade-off, because even with a 20 con, you're not going to be recovering that much.
Yeah, but it's still half your hit points, right? So, you figure at level 20, average hit points is what, 6?
Yeah.
For a fighter?
Right.
So, 11.
Yeah.
110, 220. So yeah, if you drop to 110, then you start
getting back 10 around.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start getting back 10 around, but you got to consider the fact that the kinds of things you're going to be fighting here could quite possibly get 3-4 attacks around on you. And
well, that's true.
So just kind of imagine what a dragon could be. I'm not sure what kind of damage.
Right, but nobody else gets that automatic healing.
No, it's really awesome. I'm just saying it's a battle of increments because the kind of things you're going to be fighting probably commensurate with the damage you're going to be dealing.
Yeah, but you figure if you're part of a party and hopefully you have healers in the party as
right,
well.
They'll keep you up too.
That are feeding you, and you also get your bonus action to second wind as a fighter.
Yeah, right. Well, no, that's going to be huge too. Those two things coupled with one another.
So it all just kind of combines. So I don't know, man. Like Ted said, people have kind of been like, oh, that's the beginner fighter, but I don't really think so. I think that's the fighter's fighter.
I think that's the master of the melee combat.
Yeah, it's a specific kind of build. I really think that he's kind of trumping, the big heavy weapon, the just sort of laying into people, the thing that relies on winning the crit. Like the champion is the way to go.
Yeah, but if you move into the battle master's your tactician. Yeah. As you were saying before the video, it kind of resembles like the nod to the warlord from 4th edition.
Right. Yeah, it's got a bit of that feel. For sure.
You've got the ability to manipulate the battlefield, and you get to use your what do they call them, superiority dice?
Yeah, superiority dice.
To manipulate what kind of things you do, and you get to pick.
You have all these
things
cool
that are-
maneuvers you can do.
Right.
Like a lot of things that would have been feats in previous editions that you have the
They're
opportunity
just
to
kind
do.
of built into that build.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and then speaking of feats, they have a feat where you can
That
actually...
gives you some of the options of
Yeah, it gives you the superiority die,
yeah
and it gives you...
a couple of maneuvers.
I think it gives you two
Two
maneuvers.
maneuvers,
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's one you can take multiple times or not.
No, I believe it's only once.
It's still, no matter what kind of class you are, if you're a elite combatant, it's kind of sweet to take. But it's extra sweet if you happen to be a battle master.
Right.
Because it gives you another
Even
die
more.
of whatever die type you're using.
Yeah.
So as it goes up, I mean, eventually it goes up to... Does it go to die 12?
I don't know. I thought it stopped at a D10.
It's either a D10 or the die 12. Someone holding the book, maybe they should answer that question.
Right, perchance. But yeah, like the two extra maneuvers when you're already getting a bunch of them.
right.
But it also is nice. You burn one.
Die
of your,
12s, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you burn, and you, as a champion, you burn one of your feats to get like some of the feel of the battle master to do some cool stuff too, because a lot of that goes off of your damage, and if you're doing something that's raining down crap loads of damage,
Yeah,
chances
add
are
an
you're gonna
extra
get
die.
your thing.
So,
You're
if
gonna be able to do the
if
thing
you
you
take
want to do.
if you take that feat as anything but the battle master, it's a D6 and it just stays a D6. Whereas if you take it as the battle master,
It's just an extra die
It's
of
an
whatever.
extra
die.
die.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
already died.
it's going to grow. You get the most bang for your buck as the battle master. I'm just saying, if you're using big heavy weapons and you're counting on laying down gobs of damage, adding an extra D6 to like make them make a check against that DC, like make a strength check or whatever to hold their weapon against your attack.
if you're going to take it as the champion, I mean,
You want a damage effect.
Do it as just as a damage effect and just stack on the extra D6.
Yeah, well, it's an
I
extra...
think a lot of them actually deal the
both.
damage and the effect anyway. So there's that.
Yeah, well, it depends on which ones. But yeah, a lot of them do that, which
Most
is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I made a battle master for the game we played during Brigade Con,
Yeah.
and I went with someone who fought with a long spear,
Yeah.
a polearm, and I took polearm master and sentinel, coupled with the superiority dice and maneuvers is just devastating.
Right,
You're-
because you can feel control. So for
Yeah,
days.
you're pushing people all around the battlefield. You're stopping them in their tracks. They can't get away. They're drawing attacks of opportunity. You're hitting them twice. It's just nasty stuff.
It's not very nice.
So I
Not very nice at all.
I got to move in to attack you. Okay, I hit you before you can get close enough, and
I stopped you. Oh, and I pushed you back 15 feet. So that's like kind of the 6 of the things you can do with a battle master.
Yeah, I might have to look at it between Battle Master and Barbarian and see what's the optimal way to spec it. But I could see doing the elf, the wood elf version. Basically, you can get around the battlefield really quick and then kind of cut people off and control the field because like the extra 5 feet of movement, a reach weapon, the Barbarian extra speed, and then you have your Battle Master stuff going on. Yeah, like just kind of like cutting people off.
Oh,
pushing
doing
people around.
both.
Yeah. Just like seeing what's the optimal balance between the two classes.
Well, for Ted's campaign, I'm playing a wizard fighter,
Yeah.
and with me realizing how the fighter gets extra bumps, now I'm like, you know what? I was thinking before 5 levels of fighter.
6, gotta get 6.
Now I might as well go 6 for the
Yeah.
extra bump.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was totally a game changer. But not only that, then I'm going to get two bumps from fighter, and then I'll get my other bumps from being a wizard. I won't really lose anything, just some of the spellcasting ability. And then I was like, you know what? If I go Eldritch Knight on it, I'll get back a couple of my spellcasting levels.
Yep.
So it won't even skip a beat. I'll get some more, I'll get some more cantrips out of the deal. I'll get some more spells known. I won't get the higher level spells, but I think it'll be fun. And as an Eldritch Knight, you get to bond 2 weapons,
Yeah,
which is pretty sweet.
it's pretty handy. Yeah, it really a lot of this stuff would be just like figuring out. It's gonna come into what's the optimal build like.
It's a
To let-
min-maxer's wet dream.
The optimum build with like the sort of like going level 20, like what's the best way to do it. And I think you're pretty good off with taking 6 levels of fighter and then the other 14 of whatever your primary class is.
In previous editions, I mean, 3rd and 4th were so vastly different in comparison to multi-classing, and here in 5th we've got a whole it's not even comparable to the previous. It really puts in the question of, okay, well, how do I handle, the multi-class? So it's kind of like starting from scratch.
Yeah, well, with your stat bumps being tied to your
class,
it really changes the dynamic where you have to really think about what you're giving up and what you're getting.
Yeah, I just as far as the classes as a whole, like fighter is one of the safest ones to just dip into for the heavy. Well, I guess you have to start as fighter to get the heavy armor.
Yes,
right?
you do.
Yeah.
So really, if you're gonna take a little foray into fighter, you may as well start fighter, go straight 4 in fighter. Next 4 in whatever class you're going to go into, another 2 fighter, and then go, however, finish out your character's career as well.
It may be. I mean, it doesn't matter so much. I mean, you might delay your stat bump, but then you might get like both of them back to back.
Yeah. I mean, no, there is that. I mean, there is that.
So far, in my opinion, with the multi-classing, like I have to admit, in third edition, which we played third much more than fourth, I was very much into multi-classing. Now it's like, all right, well, even one level of dipping is like, well, I don't know whether it's going to be worth it because I'm going to have to give up or delay, whatever ability that I might
Yeah,
be
they're
looking at.
definitely-
Everything in third was front loaded for levels 1 or 2.
I made 3 different characters for the meat grinder that were level 7. Every single one of them was level 7 in one class. I made the warlock for your Spelljammer game, and it's like, okay, originally you said 8th, and they got changed to 9th, and I'm like, oh, well, do I dip into another class? I'm like, nope, 9th level. So I've made a ton of characters, and not a single one of them have I considered, with any seriousness of let's multi-class.
It does really reinforce monoclassing by and large. I mean, that's like there's things that you're going to miss, for a lot of them.
Third edition, it behooved you to say, yeah, dip in to get all this extra stuff. Fourth edition, all you did was really splash in a little bit of flavor of what the other class was. So you really didn't get a lot. You just got to, finagle your powers around a little bit. And here it's...
You got to really want to build something specific.
Yeah.
And in this edition, to dip into the multi-class.
Right.
Like, I was looking at Mark's character in the game we just ran for the Spelljammer, and he's a ranger druid. Now, but one of the nice things is, like, rangers have a very cool spell list, but they don't get many spells to cast. Well, the way it works is you get half your ranger levels and you get your full druid levels, and you add them together, and that's what level you are for spell slots. So that means you can access those really cool spells a lot more often.
Yes.
So like there are instances like that where it is kind of really cool to do that
As a castery type.
as a castery type.
Or the Eldritch Knight, right? To get a little, round out your spells that way.
Well, yeah, you could do it that way too. And that's the other thing. Like they built, like with the archetypes, there's a lot of Gish classes already built in. So it's like, do you go fighter wizard or do you just go Eldritch Knight?
With just this little tweak of whatever that thing is you want to do.
Between the mid ground, like your Eldritch Knights, your Arcane Tricksters, or heck, even your Warlock, that they seem to have overlap of multiple things. Technically, I could say that the monk fits there in the middle as well. And if that's not good enough, then you can always splash in a feat
To change it up as
that
well.
gets you something as well. It's like, okay, well, I don't, I like the, I like the champion, but you know what? Outside of combat, I want to, cast Detect Magic and Identify. So I'll take Ritual Caster. So that gives you just a little bit of splash that you want, or let's say, what, I want to play, I want to play this.
Guess where we're gonna go with this,
Where are you going to go with this?
right? Going off of that the dwarven fighter, who's also like a rune caster, with the ritual magic, like it's so thematic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works
Isn't
completely.
Oh no!
or,
I was gonna say there's nothing really to make magic items because I was thinking like Runecaster making.
Yeah,
items, but
not
there's-
yet. In the DMG, which I haven't really gotten through very much yet. I've been too busy, but definitely making magic items isn't like it used to be in third edition. They went back old school, the way it should be.
But-
like you need like the unicorn's blood given freely, and You know, maybe forge it in a volcano fired by a red dragon.
All right, or you know what? Let me take fighter, and I'll take magic initiate. I'll take spare the dying. I'll take cure wounds. I can stop my party members from dying, and I get an extra D8 healing each day.
And the story arc reason is like, I almost became a paladin.
I mean, you can splash.
Almost.
You can splash anything you want in there. I tripped in a magic well, or whatever. So many different ways that you can play with it. And since the fighter gets so many feats, you can splash in some of these essentially
Esoteric sort of things.
I mean, there's at least 3 different feats you could splash in there to give you spell casting.
Right.
Yeah.
Ritual caster, spell sniper,
And magic initiate.
and magic initiate. Which it's all very doable, and it just makes for a unique character without multi-classing.
Without multi-classing, without actually having to even get into Eldritch Knight. You just be like, yeah, I get 8, I get 7 feats anyway.
Or I mean, if you are Eldritch Knight, you can be super castery.
Which I feel like we have to talk about the Eldritch Knights a little bit more, because we just briefly kind of mentioned them, but like we didn't get into their stuff that they get. Like
Right, so at 20th level, they only get access to a single 4th level spell. So you're not getting high level abilities.
No, they actually know a lot more spells than they can cast. But they get a handful of cantrips. You start off, get 2 cantrips of your choice from the wizard spell list, and you get another one at 10th level. Now they're a little bit different because they're restricted in their spells, only abjuration and evocation, and then they get like at certain levels they can learn a spell from anywhere.
So just to belabor the point of the sorcerer being an inferior caster, do you know that the sorcerer only knows 2 spells more than the 20th level Eldritch Knight? Did you know?
No, I did not know.
So the fighter that does a little bit of the casting is still almost as good of a caster as the I am strictly magical. I am a magical unicorn.
Well, the sorcerers aren't magic anymore. They've got they swallowed a magic crystal when they were a baby, and they've got some magic.
A pixie tinkled on them.
Right.
Something. Well, all right. Well, let's go away from picking on the sorcerer.
Yeah, I couldn't help it.
You're gonna have ravenous sorcerer fans, storming the castle here.
Yeah.
Weapon bond at 3rd level. The Eldritch Knight can take 2 weapons and bond them, and as long as they're still on the same plane as him, he can summon them as a bonus action, which is pretty freaking cool.
Pretty handy.
7th level, War Magic, badass. Make a weapon attack as a bonus action, and you can cast a cantrip. So, I'm sure if you no, never mind. Lost my train of thought. I was going to say there's got to be another way to cast another spell as well, but I'm not so sure. And then Eldritch Strike, which is really
isn't it
cool.
that you can cast a cantrip and a spell? This is just a bonus action.
This says beginning at 7th level, when you use your action to cast a cantrip, you can make a weapon attack as a bonus action.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
think so.
it'd be hard to get off that extra
Basically,
one.
the only thing that would do it is if you had a spell that goes off as a reaction, like a shield.
Yeah, or a ready to action.
Yeah.
But it doesn't say that. It says when you use your action to cast a cantrip.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, doesn't
It's not your reaction.
Well, no. You would have to get the spell and the cantrip and the attack off. You'd need something that's triggered via a reaction.
Like, all right, for instance, when the wizard kicks in the door, I fireball the room, and then and that's using because that's actually using the last round's action as your reaction this round. Because whenever the wizard kicks in the door, you should probably throw a fireball, and then on your turn, you could then use your action to attack and then cantrip.
I don't think that one's all that great because doesn't the fighter usually get the ability to attack as a bonus action anyway?
Only if you're using an offhand weapon.
Ah, okay.
No, that's kind of specific. And it's 7th level. I guess you're doing 2 die for your cantrips.
That's true.
I'd have to look and see when the fighter gets his other attacks.
Doesn't he get one at 5th level?
Yeah, he gets an extra fifth.
Yeah.
So really, it's seventh. I mean, you're really just training one of your attacks for a cantrip.
Yeah. It just looks cool.
It does look cool, and well, if you want to ping someone across the room, while you smack this guy in the face.
Yeah.
Eldritch Strike is pretty cool, especially because maybe your DCs aren't the highest. Where basically, if you hit them, the next time you cast a spell at them, they make their saves with disadvantage.
Yeah. Pretty handy.
It can come in handy. Arcane Charge. I like this one. This is really cool. At 15th level, you gain the ability to teleport 30 feet to an unoccupied space you can see. When you use your action surge, you can teleport before or after the additional action. So anytime you action surge, you just get a teleport in there, too.
Pretty handy.
You can Nightcrawler a mofo.
Nah, you're not Nightcrawler.
No,
Just once.
Once every short rest.
Yeah. Well, every once in a while.
That's still
Just use a rapier, be kind of blue tinge, that's all.
Tiefling?
Yeah,
Yeah, being tiefling.
Yeah, that's right. Or Wolverine used to call him elf, so. Yeah.
So, and then improved war magic is they get to cast a spell and make a weapon attack.
At 18th level.
Which, technically, you could action surge and do that twice. And then you would get...
Would there be something restricting you from being able to do that? Or is the action surge lets you break that rule, basically?
The action surge, I think, basically lets you break that rule. The only thing might be that you might not be able to cast another spell because you've already
Cast the spell.
cast a spell.
Yeah,
But,
that's what I was
wait a
thinking.
minute. No, it's not a bonus action.
Oh.
You didn't cast as a bonus action. You cast as your action, and action
getting
surge
extra
gets
action.
you another action. So they can actually, in that one instance, they outcast any of the casters.
Pretty sweet.
Two attacks, two spells, and a
bonus.
teleport.
And you still have your bonus action.
Yeah, but you still have to have something to use it with. I mean, there's only so much you can do.
Sure,
I think that's-
there's a cantrip that you can do, or make that offhand weapon attack.
Well, you could make the offhand weapon attack,
Sorry.
but my Eldritch Knight probably has a shield because he doesn't want to get punched in the face.
He's very averse to that.
There's nothing saying that your Eldritch Knight isn't walking around with plate mail.
He does wear plate mail and a shield, so he doesn't get punched in the face.
That's right. He's
Although
very averse to his punches.
theoretically, I mean, that'd probably be the best place to punch somebody in full plate is in the face.
Is there a feat that allows you to punch with your shield?
There is.
There is, yeah.
So there you go.
Push. Yeah.
It's a push. But, so, I don't know. Do we mention, all the cool feats that a fighter can take? Because,
All of them.
yeah, well, pretty much. I mean, and that's kind of the crazy part. Because they just get so many feats, there
isn't one that doesn't work with some kind of character type.
Yeah, I almost just want to go through and just take,
All of them.
well, yeah, that'd be nice. Just take the ones that give you a bonus to a stat, and just take weird ones like Keen Mind and Observant. So, you could be a know-it-all, you outsmarting the wizard.
I'll
Like,
I'll
actually-
take resilience. So I'm trained in that save as well.
The saving throw that you suck at,
Yeah.
so you get proficiency in it.
Linguist.
Athlete's not bad. Could let you stand up for half the cost. You get your full speed at climbing.
I actually want to make this fighter that just takes all the mental stat feats.
Well, basically, you dump them and then you use your feats to bring them back up, more or less.
Well, it brings them back up, and then you have kind of cool stuff you can do as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's just so much good stuff you can do with the fighter. The feats, is almost like a video all unto itself.
Yeah, for sure.
So, fighter, man, what are you guys thinking?
Thumbs up, all around.
Yeah.
My personal choice would be a toss up between, champion and battle master of which one that I'd play for my first fighter. I think it would kind of really rely on what's going on with the campaign. I went with champion for my guy for the meat grinder.
Yeah, and there isn't even a bad race either.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. The two things that I have in mind is, it was one that I was kind of talking to you about before. Either doing the sort of both of them blended with the barbarian. See how you can optimize them. Like the half orc that just wants to get as many attacks off as possible and as much probability of critting with a great axe. So he's just piling on the damage. So you do champion, and then the barbarian build the
Frenzy?
frenzy berserker.
Yeah.
Or doing the sort of
Which level is it that you can take get advantage by giving advantage?
5th, maybe.
Is it that high?
Maybe not even that high. Maybe it's like 3rd.
But you combine that with champion, and that's pretty sick.
Yeah. Especially because then it ups your odds of rolling that the
19 or 20.
And then the other thing again, doing a wood elf fighter barbarian to like just do as much like battlefield control with with a polearm as possible.
But what is you got to go 5th level to get the movement right on barbarian.
Yeah, well, I mean, but like what we were talking about before, like 6 levels of fighter and then 14 of what else, like of anything else, which would be barbarian in that case. Because I know there's that one, the berserker ability that we kind of ignore. What is that? Their 10th level ability. Not too worried about seeing that one. So. Yeah, that I can intimidate one dude as my standard. As
but
my action.
I kind of that would be tough, dude, because when you're talking battle master, like they really start to shine at the higher levels. I mean, that die goes up, maxing out at die 12.
Yeah.
So you you're kind of giving up on that.
Decisions. You're always losing out. You're always trading up.
It would make it tough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but also too, like the concept of that character is he probably wouldn't go for heavy armor. He would want to like be zipping along the battlefield.
Naked.
Like, yeah,
and a
loincloth. Yeah, just intimidate people by lifting your breechcloth up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Maybe
Braveheart status, man. Yeah.
What's up, Ted? I see he's delving into the PHB.
Well, the fast movement is at 5th level, and I'm trying to find the one where you can, gain advantage by giving them.
It's under the archetype.
No, I think that's actually the straight up.
It's a standard
build.
barbarian thing,
and it's pretty relatively low.
So you might have to do 8 levels of barbarian and like 12 levels of fighter.
Right.
Yeah, it's second level reckless attack.
Nice.
Yeah.
You can decide to attack recklessly.
2 levels of barbarian, 18 levels of fighter.
There you go.
Score.
Done.
I don't know. Do you want to go 3 so you can use your frenzy and
Get exhaustion.
get an attack off as a bonus action?
Well, that's pretty nice too. It's funny. A lot of the fighter, the warrior classes, they all kind of get 4 attacks around, but they don't all get it the same way.
Right.
Like the fighter's the only one that straight up gets 4 attacks, and the
other thing's like based on your archetype choice, basically.
Yeah, but then like the fighter can action surge for 8 attacks in a round, and you can do that after every short rest. So I mean that's pretty sick. And then I'm saying 8 attacks, but like if you go offhand or something, then it's actually 9.
Right.
So that's a lot of attacks.
It is.
And if you're going offhand, that probably means you took that fighting style.
And then the feat. Oh wait, isn't it the feat? There's the feat that lets you use the 2 medium weapons, right?
Yeah, so you might as well.
May as well. I mean, come on.
And it increases it gives you medium weapons, the double draw, and a bonus to AC.
Can't argue with that.
Not
at all. And I'm an elf that uses 2 scimitars, and I have a panther.
Nice, but you're a fighter instead of a ranger.
Right.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Exactly.
Because you want to play against type or something,
right? Because I don't want to be that kind of drow,
right?
Elvish ranger. I want to be a little different.
You went there. On that note, I think we should
wrap this up. We're getting a little goofy.
So where can they find us? If they're looking for us?
In Ted's basement.
Yeah. At the address is no. No, you can find us at nerdarchy.com, Facebook, Twitter.
The Pinterest group the Reddit group.
Reddit
group.
How to stay nerdy.
How to stay nerdy.
That's right.
So, yeah, find us in those places. And with that, my friends,
stay nerdy. With a large large table to like have somebody play, the ranger or the cleric that can kind of fill in for that melee sort of feel.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not leaving the party high and dry.
Well,
you can
You know
just
what?
say
I kind of say F the party, play what you want to play, and just rain death and destruction from afar if that's what you want to do. The options there.
right.
And-
You
and-
take the thing where you can shoot without disadvantage from like 600 feet away or whatever.
You're like you can be the heavy archery unit.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'm up in the tree about a half-mile away.
No. My version wears full plate, and he's not climbing any trees. He's gonna hurt something.
Yeah, right. No, we don't do that.
Probably
He
true.
brings a pulley system with him wherever he goes. He's
Yeah,
wrenching himself up. Yeah.
Some
Good.
a block and tackle.
Yeah.
He's also engineer on the side.
Right. Second edition status.
Must be a dwarf.
Yeah.
Must be.
He's probably a dwarf.
Yeah, but then you don't get the feet. So you gotta wait. Ugh.
Yeah, dwarven problem.
I do want to play a dwarven crossbowman for
Of
some
course you
reason.
do.
Of course.
They'll play
You
dwarf
would.
and everything.
You would.
Although I'd probably make that character a rogue.
Just to mess with you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see. So we got the second wind. We got the fact that he gets the most attacks with the extra attacks hitting 5th level and 11th, and then what? And then 20th. Yeah, and then you get another one on 20th. So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, they get 4 attacks. So
Yeah.
when they max out, it's the most like.
Oh, and they kind of fixed.
Hey guys, Dave with Nerdarchy here, for Nerds by Nerds, hanging out with my Nerdarchy crew. What's up, guys?
What's
Hey,
up? I'm Ted.
I'm Ryan,
And today we're going to be talking about the fighter,
or the feeder.
the feeder.
The feeder.
No feeding.
You get
Feeding's for noobs.
No, I think he's talking about
the feet.
feats.
The agony of the
Oh,
feet.
yeah.
And the
Well, that's only if
ecstasy.
you're using optional rules.
That's true, but there's a lot of good.
So we're
options
talking
out
about Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition fighter.
Yes, specifically the 5th edition 5e fighter.
So what do we think?
Well, first of all, I'm a little embarrassed, but it was
You should
actually a Nerdarchy fan pointed out to me that the fighter gets more ability bumps than anybody else. I just thought everyone got the same.
I have to admit, I went through the same thing,
And I had-
looking through, and it's like, okay, you
there.
get
You
a
figure it's all
4,
cookie
12,
cutter, right? So yeah.
But the fighter, they get more.
They get 7, not 5, and the rogue gets 6. So the fighter is still the undisputed master of the feat if you use the optional rule.
Right.
So that's 8.
Optional
if you-
rules pending. Yes.
That's 8 if you're a human.
Yeah.
Or or if you're a human and you just say you don't take any feats, you go with the straight. What is it? They get a +1 to everything.
Right. Yeah.
Dude, that's a +20, right? Am I adding that up right?
They get 6 to start, and then if they get, you said 8 bumps or
7.
So 7 is 14. No, it's it's 20.
So a human fighter get a +20 of their stats.
They can be the master of the stats.
They could have a 0 and raise it to 20.
They could do that.
But I think that makes them a vegetable or an
right.
or a
Invalid.
Amaton or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but so that was actually pretty cool, and I recently just realized that. I keep learning more and more about this edition as I play.
Well, there's a lot
To be
in
expected.
there's a lot in the book to talk about, and it's I guess too much to grasp all at once.
It is an awful lot.
I guess I guess too. Like you have preconceived notions of stuff. And-
Well, yeah, everything else is templated. Everything else is pretty much the same progression
Until they
And
break it.
And then you have the fighter and the rogue that break. So there's that.
And yeah, I was so excited too. I was like, oh, that's how they fix the sorcerer and make him equal to the wizard.
And then you look through.
And I looked through and no,
Yeah.
no, he still
He's not
he still
equal
gets
to the
pounded. You know where.
Yeah.
Alright,
So
In the sorcerer hole.
three archetypes.
we got the champion, what is the tactician? What's that one called?
Battlemaster.
Battlemaster.
And the
Eldritch
Knight.
Knight. That's right.
So this still completes our every class gets spells,
Pretty much.
Yep.
which is so bizarre.
It is, and actually though, like I don't even. Although the monk gets spells, I don't really feel like they're spellcastery.
No, they feel just like special abilities, like,
Ooze.
and you couple that with the champion and a half orc, and we'll get back into that.
And
but
then there's some feats to throw in there too.
there's some
So,
devastation.
you
happening
you've
left and
really
right.
got the ability to bring up that median damage, on that greatsword.
But that being said, if you want to go the archer route, a +2 to hit is huge in this edition.
That's true.
Yeah, you're not seeing a lot of pluses.
Yeah.
And then then there's a couple feats you can stack on top of that as well. Matter of fact, if you decide to go crossbow, there's actually 2 feats you can stack on top of that.
Well, how in the 20+ years that you've been gaming, how often have you gone ranged fighter? It's
I don't know. I'm always DMing. I need a chance to play to figure it out.
It's a rare mix. Someone who's like, I'm gonna go fighter, and then I'm gonna just use focus on a bow. Usually, the fighter is the one that goes in the front.
Well, I mean, it's hard because you need those people that are going to be like absorbing attacks that can take them. And if it's just your casters and your rogue, like you're kind of SOL.
Someone's got to absorb the damage for the archer.
Right, exactly.
Infiltrate.
And I'm gonna second wind too. Yeah, right. Don't they get to do that as a bonus action?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So, oh man, I took some damage. I'm gonna second wind. Meanwhile, your wizard's getting beat the crap in the front line.
Because I think I've seen 2, maybe 3, over the years that I've been playing. That somebody's taken fighter and gone the archer. Right?
I feel like you need to be playing like every other special ability the monk gets.
Yeah, it just felt like kind of some
some flavor. Yeah, a little bit of the
airbender.
Yeah, airbending going.
Or some Goku or some Street Fighter.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with the fighter, you want to break down the archtypes?
Well, let's start with champion.
Baseline.
So
fighter.
some people
baseline fighter. What do you want to do?
Yeah, we should talk baseline fighter and then kind of get it.
Let's go into the baseline fighter. We already talked about that they get 7 stat bumps, slash feats. What else do we think about their base abilities?
Well, first off, you have to talk about the fact that they the fighting style, which a lot of the martial classes get.
Fighter gets the most choices, though.
Right. Okay. So they get a fair amount of options as far as that goes.
And they get it at first level.
Right. Well, yeah, because a lot of them they're seeing it at second.
Is
kind of the thing.
So you can my favorite choices for that is you get defensive, just a straight +1 to your armor class, which if you stack on heavy armor and a shield, you can get a decent armor class really quickly.
I kind of like duelist, man.
The duelist with a single weapon, you have the shield, but you're not really losing that much for the damage because you're getting an extra +2.
Right. So it's like the upper part of your damage stays the same, but your low end increases.
Right. Yeah. So that's nice.
I was going to say I also like the great weapon fighter.
Oh, the great weapon
especially if you go with a great sword. You reroll the 1s and 2s.